Hello Manish sir, hello Farrukh sir. Welcome to both of you. Before we start, I'll give just a brief introduction of what we are doing as part of the Urban Action Initiative. So, as you're aware, we started the initiative to give a global platform to people to talk about issues related to our cities and development that need attention while we talk about sustainable development goals and the 2030 agenda. And yours was one of the entries that brought to light such an important topic. Your topic is COVID-19 and play and recreation for girls in urban areas. And I think it's very important to talk about the role of gender as well as young girls and how they are treated in urban areas. So we would talk about your piece in a while, but if you guys can just briefly introduce yourselves for the people.
Yeah, I am Manish Thakre, and I work with Save the Children as Head Urban and Program Policy. And it's been 5.5 years. I'm working with Save the Children and contributing towards making cities child-friendly and bringing their voices to planning and implementation. Thanks.
Hi, I am Farrukh Shah, and I have been working with Save the Children for about 6 years, working as manager research with a focus on building evidence on the issues affecting children.
Thank you. Save the Children has been doing a lot of work across the globe, and it's really great work that's going on. So, coming to the piece that you submitted for Urban Action Avenue. So, we will start with a brief summary from either of you or both of you. How did you come up with this? Like, where did the inspiration for this topic come from?
Well, it's the inspiration came during the first lockdown. So while we were talking about challenges of the children and especially girls, then the thought came to mind is like how some of these girls who are living in informal settlements are accessing playgrounds, parks, or indulging in recreation activities, because in the pre-pandemic situation, they a lot of them only got the opportunity while they are going to schools. So and during the lockdown, the schools are closed. So it was just a thought like what is happening to these girls when schools are closed, how they are coping other than studies, especially on indulging themselves in play activities or any other activities which they were doing with their friends when they are either going to schools or coming back from the schools, or in the pre-pandemic situation. So that was the idea, to understand and to research on how pandemic is affecting the girls living especially in the slums, and to bring in the lens of this important aspect on their opportunities for indulging in sports, games, or outdoor activities. So that's the idea we wanted to test. Is it something which has aggravated, or it is already there and they are facing more trouble? So that actually allow us to bring forth this issue as a part of one of the report which we publish within 2 years or 3 years time. We call it WINGS, World of Indian Girls. So in 21 we our policy team thought about a topic on how COVID-19 have impacted girls. So and wearing an urban hat, we thought it's good to bring the challenges of girl child for this particular topic. Thanks.
So this piece, as I understand, is it like a part of a larger research that you were doing, or this research was entirely done individually for this perspective, for this particular
Uh,
initiative?
this is part of the larger research where we were exploring how COVID-19 has impacted the health, nutrition, education, and protection. So, and we would like to explore how urban children have been affected. And then the idea came on to research on this particular topic because we do not have too much of published literature on this topic. First, second thing, there is a lot of a discussion about tactical urbanism or rejuvenation of parks and playgrounds, and while there is also discussion around slum redevelopment and so on and so forth. So the whole idea is to understand how we can uh, generate evidence for our own programming as well. So because we do develop programs which we implement on the ground, and in our theory of change, one of the key factor is to generate evidence and then do the programming which we can monitor, and we can learn from it and take it forward. I mean, in terms of scalability. So it is very essential for our programming to have that ground level understanding. So we thought, why not we take up this topic as uh, as uh, as a topic of our research on impact of COVID-19, because the idea is to it will help us understand the on ground situation. And second thing is, if we in near future, if we want to develop programming, so we will have data on the challenges of girls on the ground. So that's the whole idea. Farrukh,
Okay.
do you want to add?
Yes. Uh, so, adding on to what Manish has just talked about, that there is generally, conventionally, there has been a focus on education, health, and nutrition. These are the issues that really get a lot of priority, generally speaking, from stakeholders, from civil society, as well as from government. However, play and recreation, unfortunately, has been a kind of area that has been less focused on and less, acknowledged as an important priority, especially in the context of girls. So that was another, one motivating factor for us to really go into understand that how COVID-19 is having implications on their access to play and recreation, which is equally, if not more, important as their other rights. Let's say education, health, and nutrition. Yeah.
Definitely, play and recreation is an important aspect of their lives, and when we talk about children, it becomes a major part of their lives. So, as you said, your priority or your focus was understanding the on ground situation and on the evidence base. So, would you like to discuss about what were the research outcomes and how, like, was it desired? Was it according to your expectations? What did you find out?
Well, there was a gut feeling that some of the things which we were anticipating is going to come out that way. For example, a lot of girls are not having access to playgrounds in the parks. Second thing, there are safety concerns in accessing the parks. Third thing, that with the closure of the schools, so the girls who are getting opportunity to indulge in the games classes or library classes or SCPW or other extracurricular activities, so they are not doing that. So and and how online those things can be taken up during the scenario. So we wanted to explore that. And another thing was that the household chores work might have increased for them. A lot of them who are, I mean, because we have taken an age group of 10 to 18. So a lot of these girls which whom we interviewed are in the bracket of 10 to 14 and 15 to 18. So what we found out that their household chores, work, mopping, cleaning floors, utensils, washing clothes, all those has been increased, and and a lot of them have actually dropped out. So that is a interesting finding, because it has been said that learning continuity should be there during the lockdowns, and we know a lot of them, most of them actually do not have digital access. But there was a situation where the girls from Telangana and Delhi have access to mobile phone, and they were attending classes. But from Maharashtra and Bihar, it was not that. And a lot of these girls mentioned, especially from Bihar and some parts of Maharashtra, that even before the pandemic, they were not playing. So, and that was a finding, because it is surprising, because that age group is usually play, especially the 10 to 14. We were anticipating that 15 to 18 might not be engaging too much outdoor activities because of a lot of challenges of safety, security, and other different social norms. So that was the thing. So one thing which clearly came out is that COVID-19 closure of schools have limited their access to outdoor activities. So a lot of girls mentioned that they know the importance of play and recreation with respect to their health, development, well-being. It's important for their mental health also. And those things they are missing, and they want that the school should open up, and they should get opportunities to access to the things which they are missing during this pandemic. Yeah.
So one thing for clarifying to our viewers, the group that you targeted, was it in one particular income group, like the lower income group only, or did you also reach out to the lower middle income group and different areas of the society?
Yes, we have a typical mixed method approach where we did quantitative and qualitative surveys, and our target population is the girls 10 to 18 years living in informal settlements, slums. So, and we covered 4 states: Delhi, Maharashtra, Bihar, and Telangana. In Delhi, we covered 2 districts, and in other 3 states, we covered 2 districts each. So our income group is the slum population actually. So they may vary from within that brackets, but but it's largely the slum population whom we interviewed, both quantitative and qualitative survey. And we also did reach out to a lot of other stakeholders, including we've interviewed few gardeners who are maintaining parks and playgrounds, and then ward counselors, physical training teachers, or who are often called PT teachers in schools, then elected representatives, then some municipal officials. So and it was challenging because we were doing this around this survey around February 2021. So it's just before the second wave struck. So, and it was both online and offline both, but a lot of discussions with all COVID-19 appropriate behavior and protocols were followed while we had quantitative survey interviews as well as qualitative discussions with girls and other stakeholders.
So I'm sorry, yeah, please continue.
If I just may add, Ronika, that this design was by choice. That we intentionally wanted to go to those girls who are from lower income group, who are especially from poor settlements, slums, because by intention we wanted to understand the implication of COVID-19 in terms of access to play and recreation with regards to this group of girls. Yeah.
I was actually going to ask you about exactly that, because I remember in your article you mentioned Article 31 of the UN Convention, and you described it. So, how would you say that relates? Like the situation of these girls in the slum population, how do you think it is compared to where our cities need to go? What is happening? Like, are we doing enough? Are we doing enough for them? Are we even acknowledging these issues in the country? Because like see the children works in different regions of the country, so you may be able to shed light on that.
Yeah, and rightly you mentioned about UNCRC Article 31 talks about play, recreation, and leader as one of the rights. And if you see the 4 pillars: survival, development, protection, and participation. So when we see child rights, then we really need to understand that that are we really taking care of their play and recreation right? So which is largely being ignored because of various other reasons, which may not come to as a priority, in terms of first providing them with education, health, and nutrition, which Farrukh has just mentioned. So it is very important to understand that play and recreation is like any other discipline or a topic which help children to explore their neighborhood, their own surroundings, which will help not only in their physical growth but also mental well-being, which has been greatly hampered during this COVID-19 pandemic. So once these children go out, indulge in outdoor activities in parks or playgrounds, or so they can explore their surrounding, and which will help them in their education, in deciding their future, also in terms of their profession. They may want to become certain things, do certain things, which that environment, if they get, in terms of exploring their disciplines for the future or career for the future. Say for example, we know if we have good infrastructure for sports, then, and of course gender inclusive, then it will create a lot of opportunities for youth to explore their career in different sport fields. So that way, I think we have to cover a long journey as a country, because our built environment is random. It is ignorant of the fact that the 40% of the children is need their childhood to be playful. So and we cannot convert all the vacant land or open spaces into a building, because that is happening all across, and that is leading to inequality in accessing open and green spaces. And that's the reason why a lot of metropolitan cities are now grappling with spaces. And if the same story goes on, then tier 2 and tier 3 cities will also face similar type of a problem. So it is good. And I think some of the programs of Amrut and Smart Cities Mission has taken cognizance of this, and some of the cities are doing intervention for having parks and playgrounds. So another part to this is the inequality in distribution of such facilities. So it is very important to not only cater to the middle income or higher income community, but to make sure that such facilities are available to the children who are living in informal settlements, because they live in a very crowded areas and they do not have access to formal playgrounds or parks. And even if they have access, then their access is also restricted, or and many times they are not being allowed. So what is important at this moment is that if we really plan our cities in a way that we make all the streets, playgrounds, open spaces as a place for recreation for children, and girls. So that will really be helpful, because another dimension too is the safety, and the safety from two perspectives. One is the road safety, and second is the physical safety of girls. So we need to make a multi-pronged approach by which we can make sure that our children, our girls in cities who are the future citizens and future human resources have a very good inclusive development, and they claim that they are part and parcel of the city, and they can own the city, because once it is very important to inculcate that feeling in them. And how we can inculcate feeling in them? Once they go out and explore their own city, own neighborhood. So that is the whole idea. I mean, because if they have a restricted their childhood and adulthood, so then they will not be make themselves available or participate in various activities which city needs from a citizen. So it's not only the duty of the government or the duty bearers, but it is the citizens. And for the active citizen, we really need to make sure that our children, our youth are getting those opportunities to participate. So one of the way is this. I mean, it's one of the options, because if we give them those types of environment and opportunity, then definitely they can think, they can contribute, and they have very good ideas also in terms of having what type of play and recreation spaces they want, and so they can contribute in that.
So as Farouk mentioned earlier, that you specifically focus on these particular age groups and this particular income group as well. And when we say that they play a larger role in the society, so how do you think that in all your research that you have been doing, apart from this as well, where do you see, like, what are the things that we are succeeding? We as a society, are we succeeding in answering these children's needs, or are we lacking behind a lot? And what are the ways to bridge that gap according to you?
I mean, in the past few years, there is a larger focus on including children in different activities, and there is a effort from civil society organizations and also government that there should be a participatory way of planning and governance, so that all the different age groups and genders, they can be involved. So what we can say that in our programming, one of the key pillar of our theory of change is voices. So by voices we mean is the active participation, where children are heard and their suggestions are being incorporated in the decision making. Now, so that way it is very important that whatever planning and designing we take up, we make sure that these adolescent girls, children, to be consulted, and they should be encouraged, they should be given that opportunity to think and contribute to that process. So, and I think the way things are happening right now, there are various programs of Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, different challenges are happening where citizen participation is being promoted and encouraged. So likewise, there are child-friendly cities program is happening, because if you see one of the first city who got the Smart City Award, the unique element is the child-friendly aspect, so Bhubaneswar. So those things are happening, and what we need to make sure that we need to take advantage of this atmosphere where things are in right direction, and make sure that our planning process, designing process, implementation include girls and children as a part of decision making, and also part of monitoring, because if we give them that opportunity to make sure that that park needs to be maintained. So, and they can be our eyes and ears on the ground. So that way we can really make sure that children can participate.
If I may add, building awareness among different stakeholders would be another very important area, because especially of parents. So if mothers and fathers are not supportive of girls going out and exercising their right to participate and take part, and going to parks wherever those are available or in future will be available. So because this is one is gender related safety issues, is, as Manish has mentioned, is an important area. So one is that we have to make sure that these spaces are safe for girls, and second is that there is awareness so that those norms that put kind of barriers in front of girls in accessing these spaces are also removed by building awareness and sensitization among different stakeholders, especially parents, even gardeners, even people who are engaged in the process of planning these spaces in terms of especially where these should be located, or what kind of services should be available there. So that would also be a key area, so that once we have the spaces, the girls are able to go and enjoy and participate.
I entirely agree that support of parents do matter a lot. So I would like to ask you that in your research, while you were interviewing these girls, as you said, you divided them into different groups. So did you find out that how was the family supportive? How was the community supportive enough? Or what are the drawbacks that they are facing in terms of being from such a place that they have to live up to a certain culture and mentalities and mindset?
We did try to explore, not in detail, but yes, we have got the responses that the girls are not playing even before the pandemic. Their household chores work has been increased. There is a mixed response that some of the parents are very supportive in terms of providing them with digital learning devices so that they can access school, and some play opportunities within the home or near the street. So there is a response that girls were playing, close to the street near their house, or and some of them are accessing the parks even before the pandemic also. So it's a mixed bag, because every geography has a different context. So there is a difference in different geographies. But yes, there are girls who haven't seen the playgrounds, and so there are the challenges. Yes, and they are related to lack of infrastructure, accessibility, availability, and those are the challenges are there. And of course, the crimes in the cities are one of the reason where any parent is scared, in terms of wants to distant places. So they want their wards. Any parent want that they should be even playing or accessing any place should be safe. So that's the perspective.
So my next question is, like, summing it up for both of you. If given a choice, what are your individual perception on what needs to be done on the immediate basis, that something that is doable in the next 1 year to make the situation better for these girls? What would you say to that?
The very important thing is that this is a very important topic which needs a lot more exploration, because we have just scratched the surface. We have not gone into the detail of what are the barriers in terms of accessing play and recreation, besides the availability of the infrastructure or the parents concerned about their safety. And second thing is that how the schools community and the government can take a important role in making sure that girls should have access to play and recreation. Third is, it is very important that the girls themselves should be oriented, aware about that what are the infrastructural facilities available in the vicinity, because they are some of them are not aware of, right? And another thing is, like, school is one place where they can explore many things, and a lot of teachers whom we interviewed, they mentioned that it is important to have female physical training teachers also. So there are many things which we need to explore in detail. But at the onset, what is required at this moment is to engage girls and children in terms of what they want their neighborhood to be, and what are the things they want in terms of play and recreation within their surrounding. After understanding those challenges, it is very important that we make sure that whatever minimum we can provide, the municipalities or the local stakeholders, they should make sure that those things are available. I mean, even if it is a small space, so we can make sure that those are being accessed by the girls and the children. So another thing is, lot of places in the cities closer to the informal settlements are unused spaces. So we can definitely, through tactical urbanism, we can make sure that they are readily available. And because under Amrit and Smart Cities mission, these are the priorities. So these are the two immediate things which we can do. And the third thing is also sensitizing all the stakeholders that right to play and recreation for girls does matter. And if we really promote this thing, then we will have a very healthy, inclusive, gender sensitive cities, and we will have a brighter future for our own children. Because if they are not enjoying their childhood or the adulthood, then it will be a regressive future for them. I mean, it will not be a very it will be like, ठीक है, हम लोग अभी didn't have any choice to make sure that they enjoy it like any other kids who have access to all these facilities.
Farrukh, sir, what do you have to add?
Yeah, so I think Manish has covered all the key points that needs to be done. I would just add that we have been living in COVID times, and as per our findings, we saw that COVID and especially lockdowns did restrict whatever limited access to spaces for play and recreation girls had, and closure of schools was one major reason behind that. So as now we are looking forward to opening up of schools. So it would be important to ensure that at least those girls who are exercising their right and participating and playing games while accessing school as a spaces, at least we need to make sure that girls make optimum utilization of those spaces that were already available with them in pre-COVID-19 times. Because what happens is that when you are at home for a longer duration of time, so children have not been attending school, it's been like almost now 1.5 to 2 years. So there are possibilities that they have got those kind of behavioral aspects where they have become more sedentary lifestyle, and we saw it in our study as well, that they were spending more time in watching TV and just sitting, those kind of sedentary behaviors. So getting them started in more active behaviors once schools are going to open is, I think, one very, very immediate thing that needs to be done, especially in the context of if we talk about 1 year. And of course, the rest of the issues that, building general awareness, sensitization, infrastructure, all those remain equally and very, very important with both near-term as well as longer-term perspective.
Yeah, I think one thing that we as professionals working in the urban development sector would agree on is that even if we want to help one particular age group or one particular, uh, what do we say, the criteria for helping them might be limited, but then if we want to help them, we also need to focus on the larger perspective of what is happening in our cities and the environment, and that includes focusing on other people as well, the environment, the citizens, the community as a whole. So I think the best way to end this interview would also be that how would you say, when we talk about the way forward, and hopefully we do manage to help these girls and we achieve what we are looking forward to. So, how would that help in the larger community development and the SDGs? So, we as a society, when we are growing and helping these girls is an important milestone. So, how do you think that would add to the future?
I mean, SDGs have a goal where it's specifically talking about access to parks, playground, and green spaces. So I think if the government, which is already investing, and if they enhance their investment not only in the selected cities but to the larger towns and cities for augmenting of infrastructure for the low income settlements for accessing parks and playground facilities. So that will help the children residing in uh, uh, those areas to have access to different activities which will be very healthy for their growth. Second thing is municipality has to take the cognizance that which are the wards within the city which are lagging such infrastructure or services, and then they can augment over a period of time the such facilities in those areas. Third thing is we need to really focus on financing these things, so we can involve private sector participation in some of the areas where municipality thinks that it can be done with the help of private sector. So that will also have a dual purpose. One is that the infrastructure or service gap will be addressed for play and recreation for girls, and the investment will also be paired with some proportion from center, state, city, and the corporate. So that way it can be think about. I mean, like that way. And third thing is engaging citizens in terms of making aware about why healthy behavior is important for everyone. So because it is important the way the urban areas are shrinking of spaces. So it will then help advocating for this most marginalized group, because ultimately higher income or middle income group anyway, they access to the clubs and the golf courses or other thing. But if there is a vox populi about having a green spaces or play areas for everyone, then of course this group will also get benefit out of it, because ultimately SDG is talking about inclusive. So that inclusiveness is only come when we are thinking holistically about a space which is for everyone, has a right, whether he is from high, middle, or lower income group, it doesn't matter. That space is for everyone and it should be accessed by everyone. So I think these are the few points which we can take as a future implementation or programming or policy thought process.
Yeah, if I could add one area which is very very important is building evidence on this on this issue of girls' access to play and recreation. So what we have done is actually a very small attempt, and kind of there is some evidence, but the kind of first kind of evidence building effort that we have made, but there is a lot more which is required. Uh, uh, Considering the diversity of geographical contexts, cultural contexts in our country, it would be very very important to design city specific studies, local studies, to build evidence that can be fed into planning at the municipality level and the local level. That would be a very, very important, and also for the other stakeholders. So that would be very important to build evidence. And maybe we could also explore multi-country studies, so that the built evidence which comes from different cities across the world can also be used to provide inputs for policy making global level. I mean, for norm setting, let's say global institutions can start prioritizing more about this neglected area of play and recreation. So I would uh, feel that would be very, very important.
Thank you for mentioning that. It is indeed a really interesting aspect that must be considered. And I would also like to thank you for doing this research. And as you said, you started to build evidence from the waves. So I think it was an important step that someone needed to do it, and you guys did it. And hopefully there will be more literature added and people will focus on this issue more as we go ahead. But yes, it was nice talking to both of you, and it was great knowing about your work and how you guys did with the research. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Ronika, and we are thankful from Save the Children India that you have chosen this topic for this competition, and given us this opportunity to express why this topic is important for children per se, and it's pleasure talking to you on this particular topic, and hope we will further research on this particular area of work. Yeah, thanks a lot.
So, Ronika, just echoing the sentiments expressed by Manish, thank you so much to this initiative, as well as Cities Forum, for providing this opportunity to us, and thank you so much to you as well for taking your time out and bringing this conversation forward and together. Thank you.
So yes, I think the purpose of starting this initiative was to bring to light such ideas, and this was one of the most important that we thought. And I'm glad that I got the chance to do this interview with the both of you. Thank you so much for your time. It was a pleasure talking to you both.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.